Welcome to Your Cyber Path, the podcast that helps you get your dream cybersecurity job by sharing the secrets of experienced hiring managers and top cybersecurity professionals with you. Now, on to the show.
So, I think back to some things I've dealt with. I was an IT director back in 2008, and back then we realized there was a big threat of people taking thumb drives, USB thumb drives, and sticking them into our machines. And there was things like auto-running malware and other things, and people would drop these USB drives in parking lots and places like that, hoping somebody is curious, picks it up, takes it into work, plugs it in the machine to see what's on it. Maybe they can identify if this was Joe or Sally's thumb drive to give it back to them. Well, as soon as they plug it in the machine, auto runs happen, it runs the software, malware infects the system, then it starts spreading across the entire network. So one of the things that we decided in our organization was that we were not going to be using USB thumb drives. It was not allowed anymore. Now, that's a great policy from a security standpoint, but it adds a lot of operational challenges because if Kip wants to take information from one of our networks to one of our other networks that's air gapped, that's going to be difficult to do because you can't send it by email. You can't send it by FTP or SSH. You have to do it from one system to the other by putting it on a thumb drive, burning it to a CD, putting it on a hard drive, something to get it over. And the easiest way is a thumb drive, but the other problem with that is every time you move from one system to the other, you could bring malware over, right? When you think back to the Iranian nuclear reactor with the Stuxnet virus, that was the infection vector. It was an air-gapped network, but somebody took a thumb drive from a production network, moved it into the nuclear command network, and then it infected the machine and had problems. So this is a big threat. And so what we ended up doing was we said, no more USB, and we blocked it both from a software perspective and a hardware perspective. But that meant we had to come up with some other solution for our users to be able to get stuff from one to the other. And that meant in our case, we were burning CDs and DVDs. And that also had another effect. We had to budget for all these CDs and DVDs because they're one-time write devices.
Right.
Otherwise, you have the problem of bringing malware over again. And so it had all these other unintended consequences. And so a lot of people started saying, this is too hard. We want to find a way around it, right? And that's what happens if you don't have this psychological acceptability and you make things too difficult. Even though they're more secure, people will find ways around it.
Oh, yeah. And that's actually an awful place to be when you're responsible for implementing a security policy because you think that everything is secure because you've got all these fantastic controls, but then you've got your workforce is like, screw this, I'm going to get it done some other easier, more convenient way. Do they tell you they're doing that? No, of course not.